Live now. We are live.
I'ma get $1 million in the bank.
What up, y'all? I'm Torre, and this is Rap Latte.
And I'm King Green. We are waiting for the man coming out. He hasn't been let out yet. He hasn't been released.
Is he
he's coming out. He's gonna let us know. He's gonna come in.
He's at the desk right now getting his stuff.
He's at the desk getting his stuff back. You know, he had money on his books that I sent. You sent the money too, right? Yeah, we sent the money.
Sure. Yeah.
So
he said he's gonna be. He said he got some stuff to lay his hair down while I was the shit that I sent him.
From what I hear, he said it was a tough bid. He said it was hard on him. So I'm glad that he's out.
No, not everybody is built for the penitentiary. We just gotta be honest.
Yeah,
some people aren't built for it.
They're not.
I'm one of them. I'm not built. I wouldn't last an hour. I wouldn't make it through scared straight. I'd be scared into like a pretzel, and I'm gone.
I'm already straight. It's like we straight already over here. It's good. It's good.
Just as soon as we
here
start
goes
walking,
the man. The man is coming in. There he is. He's out. You got all your stuff. You got your stuff back, right?
They tried to take me out again. They tried to take me out again right now. They can't hold me down. Here. Good.
There he is. Fresh
they
out.
Put pressure on you, try to get you to snitch.
You know, they were saying some things, but I wasn't listening. You know what I mean? Yeah, look. Power to the people. I ain't going nowhere. I'm right here.
That's what I'm talking about. So I mean, you've been
home and free. We love it.
We home. Oh, look at his Kenny shirt too. I'm fucking with the Kenny shirt.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Send me one in green. You know what I'm talking about?
Shout out to Freako, or Freako. I think he go by Freako. He's from Atlanta. He's an Atlanta-based artist that I discovered through the battle, and his content his drawings are amazing. So yeah, FRKO, I believe.
Okay,
nice.
I'm gonna check that. You text me that later. So I mean, I want to get right into it. I'm gonna show everybody what we over here talking about. I got Curtis and Ye because Curtis said he wanted to get out first day out and talk about his perspective on this entire situation with Ye. The halftime aftermath, like how we all see everything, you know, right now, as well as rap analysis in general, like the power of it and the reason why people can do this. Because part of the aftermath and something that I love is that we are talking about art. You're forced to have this conversation. Like if it was J-Lo and Shakira, everybody's just like, oh, I liked it. It was a good job. If it was, it's like, oh, I liked it. I was entertained. No, but we're talking about art. It makes you have to feel something. The fact that someone doesn't like it, that's a great feeling. It's a great thing. Some people love it. It's a great thing.
It also makes you do intellectual work because we know we have to work to understand Kendrick. He's that sort of artist. When I got into Toni Morrison, and the point was like, you have to work to understand what she's doing, and she's doing that on purpose. She's that sort of artist that you have to put in effort to understand, and Kendrick is like that, and we love him for it. And when the kids say we're glazing because we're going deep on what Kendrick is doing, it pulls our hair out. Because this person is actually
I ain't got no hair.
Shit. And here's another example of him doing deep shit, as opposed to Kanye, who is demanding we talk about anything but the art. He doesn't have any art to add to the conversation right now, but he's like, talk about my whack opinions about the world. Well, just come with some music, nigga. Like we I mean,
I don't want. Let me interrupt there, and then I'm gonna segue to asking Curtis his changed opinion or just opinion in general. But I want to.
Well, let's set the stage for where we are with Kanye right this second. Right, he has supposedly deleted his Twitter and said goodbye. Thanked Elon for letting him go on what he called an ayahuasca trip, and the last I looked, Yeezy.com had one item. Did you see this?
Shopify booted his store this morning.
Well, they should have, because he had one. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Now you can't even get on Yeezy.com. There was one item, a freaking swastika T-shirt, and the item number was HH01. So like,
wow,
what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Right.
That's
Curtis, where you at?
incredibly, yeah.
First and foremost, thank you guys for having me here. Second of all,
Always.
last time I was here, I was given way too much credit to what I'm now concluding is just someone who is unhinged and is acting like a complete buffoon. And when I really started to dive into the reasons, possible reasons why, I thought one of his tweets during all of the crazy things he said, I thought was very telling because I feel like when somebody goes off and they say a bunch of wild stuff, eventually they're going to tell you the truth. That part where he says, watch, I'm going to defend Puff. And then by next year, I'm going to get all the Grammys and I'm going to do the Super Bowl. I said, interesting. And what I notice is that he is the symptom of a problem that is affecting a lot of our OGs. I can go down the list. We've had some questionable moments in the last X amount of months by Snoop. We've had that for 50 Cent and the way he sided with Drake and the weird stuff with the op list of Big Boy. You think about Nelly following through with the whole, Bitcoin Trump situation. Lil Wayne and the way that he's been acting left and right. I think we're seeing two things happen, and I think one of them is spiritual. I think the first thing that's happening is that all this light and love surrounding Kendrick is bringing out the darkness and the evil in a lot of other people are some demons. But then also too, I think they're having to for the first time, because that generation was probably the last generation of true gatekeepers, but not gatekeepers from the culture, gatekeepers from younger artists who could be in position to one day take their role. A lot of these artists stuck around. They just hung around. They signed people, but those people were always underneath them. So I think what's happening is that we're also seeing a changing of the guard, and they're very uncomfortable. And the way that they're acting in the process is revealing how much they've changed since we fell in love with who we thought they were.
I hear that.
I love that. I want to add one thing to that because I think that being delusional has been critical to Kanye's career the whole time. His mother, who I met, who was a lovely person, spent a lot of time telling him you can do anything. And to be a 15, 16-year-old suburban Chicago producer and think I can produce alongside the greats of hip hop is delusional, but it's the kind of delusion you need to have to achieve that level of goal. And he's been delusional throughout the career. And it was funny at certain times, and it made sense at certain times. And it led to the Kanye that we have, who thinks the world of himself, has this gigantic ego, and thinks I can be what Walt Disney was for the world. And maybe you can. And there's a certain level of delusion that is beautiful and brilliant and that super successful people need to have. But then Kanye has gone over the cliff, and now he's into a negative delusion land where he thinks he's superior, he thinks he's a god, he says all kinds of insane things, and we're at a bizarre stage in the Kanye story.
Well, and I'm with you 1,000%, and this is why I kept highlighting the famous speech by Dr. Delbert Blair, where he talks about the etymology of children. He talks about specifically these 80s babies from 85 to up to 80 to even the late 80s. And he talks about how, the same devices of marketing, the same devices of influence don't quite work the same way, which is why I think it's interesting. Most of the people that are coming to the defense of all these antics by Kanye seem to be younger fans, and also seem to be narcissists themselves. And when I see that be reflected in everything, I look at that and I say, oh, so right now what we're experiencing is a purge of some kind, a spiritual purge for a lot of people. Even when you talk about the cultural significance of what happened at the Super Bowl, I'm glad it's polarizing. Do you know how insane it is for somebody who makes music and makes art meant to make you feel something? You know how insane it is for people to listen to music, not be moved in a passionate way, not hate it, but just be kind of lukewarm about it. That to me, that's the biggest insult you could ever have my music. If you hate my music, that's a better that's better to me.
Right.
Than saying that you're lukewarm on it. we finally have something that's polarizing. That is what art is supposed to be. And I think for the longest, to your point, in Green, like if you would have brought, because my question is this, who would you rather have been there? And what do you think they would have done with that set, except for just rap or just sing? That storyline that we got could have only been delivered by a handful of people and executed well. And so when I look at that, I'm just like, to me, it's a sign of the times that we're in, and I'm glad it's happening. But a lot of these folks are not going to die off silently. It's going to be violent and crybaby error of folks that are going to appear, and I'm seeing them all in my comments. But my block button is very, very light right now.
Let me talk about the old head thing as well, which I think there's something that's happening or happened within the last 10 years when it comes to the political divisiveness that's been created by the way that we consume media and technology, as far as how Facebook was so integral in how the Orange Man got presidency the first time. People don't give enough blame, I would say, like to that. The fact that this negative, divisive media space that we are in right now creates a split through everything. There's always this side and that side. There's Kendrick, there's Drake, there's Democrat, there's Republican. These polarizing things existed before, but it wasn't such a stark line where in everything you do, I'm going to look at you and now you become that person. Like you would know a Republican back in the day, and you could speak to this, Toure, and it wouldn't be as if they were completely un-American or completely a racist because they're Republican. You know what I'm trying to say? There was action. And if you liked an artist, we were like, you like Mos Def, you think he's better, Toure. Freaking Curtis thinks that, let me think of a West Coast person. Can't think of one.
Farside.
I was joking, but Farside, Jurassic 5, you know what I'm saying? No, but Farside, and he likes him, and you wouldn't fight about it. But that divisiveness has become a thing. So what you see is people being susceptible to that when it comes to the old heads, because a lot of people are. Because you're talking about these are Facebook niggas. Nelly is all these people are in their 50s as Facebook niggas that are like, yo, you know what? I do agree that, and I don't think this trans person should be doing this or this should be that, because they're basing it on certain little ideas, and now they become part of that sector. I think
you're talking about the Lord Jamar of the world.
The Lord Jamar, like when you conflate some of the ideas that we grew up with in hip hop, like the 5%er ideas and all these things that were in hip hop that got shared, all these concepts that get shared, and different sorts of blackness, we shared it before. Now, which one I could quote Kendrick and say, I seen blacks argue about who's blacker. Like, what are we talking about, guys? Like, what are we actually having a conversation about? And that's why it's so beautiful to see what Kendrick did. But going back to Ye or whatever like that, people, because of certain ideas and all these things that got put on the internet, you have people who look at the swastika, or I don't even know if we should. I don't know. Is that cool? Are we gonna get Curtis? Are we gonna get Curtis if I say that?
Let's not say it.
So let's see when people look at that symbol. When people look at that symbol, they apply another idea, some Hotep ideology to it, and remove their Black American self from it or blackness from it, and just ignore the history of, like, there was Tuskegee Airmen that fought against this symbol. There was people that died. Thousands of people in Germany that were black before that regime came into place were killed, were imprisoned, were beaten, the same thing because of racism. So I'm saying, like, beyond the fact that is hatred to just one group in your mind, it's hatred to all, and hatred to one group. Evil begets evil. You hate this group, it's your next. You're next. It opens the gate for hatred for everyone, and you can see it under the comments of this dude. And I can't believe he had a commercial. I didn't know this. He had a commercial that on the Super Bowl that went to this link. I found that out yesterday because I didn't want me and you didn't watch the rest of the game.
It aired on Fox, so on Fox News.
But that's not how agencies work. That's not how agencies work. Fox doesn't. The way that you get that, an agency buys the time and they're like, okay, we agree with this person. It doesn't matter if it's Fox or whatever like that. They buy out the time. So the agency is the real problem there because they're the liaison between the.
Yeah, but Fox is aware of the content of the ads, and they would.
No, they don't know what the link's going to. They don't know what the link's going to.
That he probably slid past them as a fast one that they probably didn't. They surely didn't. I don't think they realized it was linking to that. Yes, there's been widespread hatred. I think Jewish people, and obviously Black people, but Jewish people in particular, have gotten a lot of hate in the world, in world history, for various reasons. And Kanye, for some reason, has been going harder on Jews this time and in general than even on Black people, which is really gross. Curtis, I want to put this on Front Street because you said you wanted to adjust your opinion on Kanye or set the record straight. Because the chat is like, Curtis was on his channel defending Kanye and saying that he didn't say
chat's going against Curtis.
I want to give you a chance to say what is real. So is that honest? Is that accurate, or is that wrong?
No, that's wrong. I wasn't defending. Matter of fact, they might have seen the last episode that I did about Kanye. I was cussing him out. I literally said F Kanye West. And I think what happened in this live stream is that the folks, the silent minority of folks that were talking in here about like, oh, he doesn't go hard on artists. I'm like, first of all, my brand has always been pro artists first. And I feel like criticism should happen first internally, but then also they should be informed. It shouldn't just be coming from somebody who's never, especially that creative criticisms, right? I would take those differently from somebody who's wrote a song, produced a song. It's a little different. So when I'm looking at this, I look and I say, first of all, I'm trying to see the perspective of somebody that I've never walked in the shoes of. After this last week, doesn't matter. Because I feel like now you've humanized yourself. You used to be superhuman in my eyes, the way that I looked up to him as a rapper and a producer. That one tweet, like beyond all the other noise, he said some wild shit. People think like, oh, you're all of a sudden caping for the Jewish community. It's like, no, I don't think you realize the things that actually trigger me in this situation. I'm looking at this, not even trigger me, that make me say, is this what this really is all about? I think that man is jealous. And I think that he is one of many that are very jealous of this moment right now. I think I think the same thing that's happening with him is very similar to what happened with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when LeBron started approaching his record for most points of all time. All of a sudden, we get think pieces about how problematic LeBron is after he does the school. All of a sudden, now he's doing things that are. So I look at the timing of it and I realize, damn, girlfriend, your insecurity's showing. When I see that, I'm about to go.
What was the tweet that specifically jumped out at you as worse than all the others?
Yeah, there's a lot.
It was more revealing. It was a lot of stuff in there that he said, like the Cassie one pissed me off. So like the fact that you are using it as part of merchandise, but I'm like, this is what he
said. He beats women. Do we not know that? He said, first of all, I didn't see that. Yes, that's the thing is I've seen every single tweet, and so that's why I think is the issues. He deletes things and puts it. He said, first of all, I've hit a woman before. I hit women before. That's what I have it saved because I had to remember that. So you should be off of him. Period.
Who said that? In this rant or a previous rant?
I didn't see that.
Let me put it up. Let me pull it up and read the mud.
I'm not challenging you. I'm just saying that was part.
I know. No, I'm just saying. I want people. Let me start by saying I have hit women before, plural. And Drake said Kendrick hit his girl, but this is 2 hours. Oh no, I don't have the time because it's a screenshot. Drake said Kendrick hit his girl, but that is not recorded on tape like that Puff video. I'm in LA right now for seasons, something like that. He goes into it. It's cut off, but the whole thing, he says he hit women before, basically saying that Drake said he hit his woman, but it's not on camera. But Puff got a camera, and now you have a problem with it. That's his. So did you not hear that?
I didn't see that.
Kendrick is the same as Puff. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
That by itself should make you off of this guy. He just said, first of all, I've hit women before, and Puff ain't that bad. And Drake said that Kendrick hit his wife. So who
Right.
says he didn't hit his wife? What are we talking about?
There's
Right,
nothing.
right,
Well,
right.
There's no bail.
The thing that I was getting at that Tori was asking about was the one where he said, watch, I'm gonna defend Puff, and then by next year I'm gonna win all the Grammys and do the Super Bowl. I'm like, oh, you're really showing your ass right now, because my thing is this: for anybody who defends this and says it's performance art, for anybody who defends this and says it's all about promotion for a project, my thing is this: what is the end goal, and does it justify it in your eyes? If he sells 10,000 more copies, does that justify the people that he's triggering, pissing off, angering, hurting? Does that justify it? Because everybody, to me, that's justification from one narcissist to another. Does that justify it that he did this and he got everybody talking about him? We're not saying good shit.
Yeah.
And it's not something that puts you in the light where, and this is the part that started making me feel like I got scammed. I'm going to speak for myself. I feel like I've been scammed by Kanye, because I feel like he plays this tug of war game so that he can extend his career. I make you hate me, and then, all the black folks hate me. All I got to do is just bring a bunch of Negroes on a plane. And this is no disrespect to the Sunday choir, but I think he thinks like this. Bring a bunch of Negroes on a plane and have them sing some gospel songs and some R&B mixed together, and then be in a church, because one way to get to black folks' heart is through the church. I look at that and I'm like, you're fucking playing with us. And
it's diabolical.
I put up with it because the music was good, right? But now it's to the point where it's like, forget all that. If I'm somebody who is very conscious about the things that I allow to get inside my brain, because at some point, if I'm reading the wrong rhetoric, if I'm seeing the wrong type of tweets, that can not only affect my day, that can change the wiring of my brain, aka that's a hypnosis that is happening. That's why they put billboards on every damn freeway out here, because it's part of a hypnosis of seeing it 7 times, whatever the case. I think about that, and I think about Kanye, and I'm like, Doug, I don't want any of your rhetoric, any of your thoughts, any of your justifications to make its way and seed into my thinking, and me may say, you know what, that does make sense. Maybe I should start saying some wild shit just to get people ramped up.
And you're grown. I'm saying you're grown. You're grown. The thing that which I at first, right away when he was going his rant, that I had an issue with, is that people act like there's not thousands upon millions of children who are way more susceptible to these and influenced by these messages than us under his comments. I'm not talking about a hypothetical, like, what if the kids get into it? I'm talking about kids are like, you know what, you're right. Yeah, no matter what Kanye says, he's right. Under his tweets about hateful stuff against black people, against women, against Jews. So there is no conversation about mental health as well, because that's another excuse that we can give to him. Do you guys know his diagnosis? I know that he might have done drugs or whatever. That's supposed to be on nitrous. He's supposed to have been bipolar. These things are not excuses and things that we need to communicate, because if someone who had mental health came to your kid's classroom every Friday and said some wild crap, and you kept on pushing him out the room and says, oh, he's just crazy, and the kids got to deal with him saying this every single Friday? No, it makes no sense. You can't make an excuse
We don't even have to go to the children. There are adults who agree with him. There is a
3,000%.
rising white supremacist movement in this country that is increasingly popping out and showing niggas who they really are. And we have to deal with that shit all over the place, and not just the publicized ones, but like you hear about in the South, the Proud Boys popping out here, the Klan, whatever. This shit is real. And I keep coming back to when white supremacists took Kanye is right or Kanye was right as a phrase. He never jumped out and said, don't associate me with that. It's one thing for him to be trying to get attention for himself with this bullshit, which is horrific. But at least I can see some sort of strategy of like, pay attention to me, buy my clothes, fuck with me, listen to my albums. But when neo-Nazis and Klansmen are hanging over a fucking billboard, over an overpass in Atlanta, talking about Kanye was right, that doesn't benefit you. That is horrific. And you said nothing. So you're okay with this.
And he better be careful, because I don't know if you've seen the movie Sorry for Bothering You with Lakeith Stanfield. I think it's called Sorry for Bothering You. It's about a telemarketer movie.
On right now.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Oh
hold
my
on. I know
God.
it's a wild, wild storyline, but when I look at the ending of it and the way that they use imagery to show when the people that drink the Kool-Aid turn on the person that served the Kool-Aid, right? When they turn on the person that did that, that's how I'm reading that last scene, and I don't want to ruin it for somebody who hasn't seen it. Kanye better be careful. The same people that you're
Become
playing
that
around with
horse thing.
become the horse thing, right? The same
That
people
was
that you're
crazy.
riling up, the same people that are justifying some way out logic will one day see that you are here to serve one religion, and that is your own. That is the religion of Kanye West. That is the ego of Kanye West. The moment that
And they
they
don't like
understand
you.
what you've been saying to you, and what I'm saying, they don't genuinely like you. They just like that you're sharing their viewpoints on your platform. But my thing is, the moment that they turn and they see who he really is, he's not about us. He's not about them. He's not about anybody except for himself. Because obviously it brought him back to billionaire status again. That's the moment that they turn that very problematic energy on the very person.
He's the Uncle Sam character. He's the Uncle Sam character in the the Kendrick freaking shit. That's East Sambo. You're like, but can I say another tweet that he? Let me read another tweet. This is important for the Kanye doesn't care about black people statement that we said, because people just was like, no, this is not true. The whites. As I said earlier, the whites get blamed for everything. The woke always blame the whites. This person's racist. That person's racist. If a white person runs a business, he don't gotta hire someone if he don't like them for whatever reason. That's what he said.
That's legally not true.
Legally
like that is not.
It's not only legally not true. All that is saying is that your black ass doesn't deserve to be here. That's what he just said right there.
King,
that's what he just said.
King Green, that's why I loved your video so much. Thank you for cutting through the bull, because I needed that video right then and there to happen when I was doing a reaction. Read that for what it is. And and my thing is, my favorite game to play with Ye right now, read that in the voice of an entitled white billionaire.
Yeah.
Or read some of them tweets in that same voice and see how you feel about that.
That's why I said when he said I'm a 47-year-old billionaire, to me I'm like, oh, he said I'm white now. I'm white.
He said, why would I listen to rap in the tax bracket that I'm in right now? Why would I listen to
rap? Rap means nothing to me.
You're like you're not like us. You're like them. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Kanye's not like, but it he's crashed out like this before, right before an album. But we know Bully is supposed to come out in June. So why are you crashing out in February? Because Kendrick is on top of the world, and I need to get some of that shine. And that is also freaking gross.
Like, what if it was never about the album? What if just hear me out on this theory. What if it was never about the album rollout? What if ever since he did the rollout against 50 Cent, and he siphoned up all this attention that was given to him, all this hyper focus that was given to him? What if the high that he got wasn't about selling more records? What if it was just because he was the center of attention, no matter what was going on in politics, no matter what was going on in entertainment? What if for the first time he did it and he crashed out in a way that he couldn't even fathom 5-10 years ago, and it didn't work? People are still talking about it.
This is the spoiled child of hip hop. This is the child who needs all the attention, good or bad, does not matter. I just need you to be paying attention to me more than anybody else at all times. And clearly thinking, what can I do to get attention? Some people command attention because of how they are. And some people are clearly thinking, what can I do to get attention? This nigga's like Cartman. Like, what? Entitled? And what can I do to get attention?
So, Ray, can I ask you this?
You
think there's a possibility that it goes beyond Kanye? I'm not trying to relieve him of any responsibility for the stuff he said, but my question to both of you actually is, do you think that that's a symptom of a generation of rappers that were used to being on top and being the center of attention at the same time?
I don't think it's a generational thing.
Yeah, are there others who are performing the same
of a statement.
behavior on a lesser scale?
Lil Wayne?
No, I don't think Wayne is in that same. I wouldn't put that in the same space, because Wayne has really, really been more reclusive about his music and point of views. Only now.
this big dread-headed crybaby that just said,
I think there's tremendous access to media as far as, let's say earned media, be it us or an Entertainment Tonight or Hip Hop DX, Complex, whatever, and then your own democratized relationship to media. I can go on any Twitter or Blue Sky or Threads or Instagram and make a direct comment to the fans. So a Wayne can communicate to us when an issue comes up. The community is going, why isn't Wayne hosting the Super Bowl? And he answers. Now, I didn't look at that as Wayne looking for attention, right? Just the same way people were like, maybe Tyler will be there. And Tyler tweets a big, probably million retweet tweet. Like, no, nigga, I'm not going to be there. Watch Kenny. Yeah. That's not Tyler trying to get attention. That's just him speaking through the platforms that we have now. But Kanye is clearly like, okay, let me roll up my sleeves, get on this Twitter, and make sure everyone's paying attention to me. What can I say? If I say I love Adolf, everyone will pay attention to me. I'm going to write that. Does he really love Adolf? I don't think so. But I also think it's dangerous that I think he doesn't really love Adolf. I'm like, he said it so many times. Like, how do I keep acting like he doesn't really mean it? Like, he must really mean it.
I really do hate that. It's like he's only shown this since the beginning, that this is like the perspective of white validation that exists within him, that happens with a lot of people in that space. But I also don't want to say it's a generational thing, as well as this dude is from Chicago, Southside Chicago, but wasn't that street nigga, right? And he's coming in a time where he needed to be in the forefront. He needed the validation from the street niggas, right? And then he, as he said, used the backpacker guys because the street niggas wasn't really working with him. So for him to be a rapper, so he used them to validate him as a rapper. So now he's saying all that type of stuff and having them write his lyrics, all that. And then once he gets on to being in the pop street nigga realm, like the street niggas fuck with him, all that type of stuff, he's more appealing to that side. Same way, the same narrative of Drake, right? It's just that Kanye's black all the way from Southside Chicago. We're like, oh, he's just the smart, genius, artistic person that was in the hood and came up and was exposed to different things. Like, we know that, right? We know that these people exist. So you didn't have to be a street nigga. You still represented the black voice in such a way, right? But he did this whole same thing of like, I come from backpacking to being pop street nigga. Like, I want to still dabble in those people's world, right? And then after that, it's like, oh, now I'm beyond that. I'm on tour with you too, and I'm now with the white people. I'm with the whites. So see me as just as good as the whites, which is a perfectly fine statement, but not when you actually are trying to be white, when you need the validation from whiteness to feel valuable. And it's in everything that he's done since the beginning, if you look at it. And I want to say one last thing, which is another, I think I'll make this skip before I hit the airport. is that I was listening to like a week ago or something. I was listening to my beautiful dark twisted fantasies on shuffle. It came on and I hear, "Can I get much higher?" I'm a Nazi. Oh, slavery is a choice. Now I hear all his tweets. I can't even listen to the old bops. It's all over it. I can't separate it anymore.
That's what happens in my mind when I encounter Kanye, R. Kelly, some folks like that, like maybe Woody Allen, where you're like, I can't just consume your art because the voice of like what you did comes in and it wrecks that parasocial relationship I had. I used to be able to just sit back and listen to your music and watch your movie, and now I can't stop thinking about like whatever the fuck happened.
Can I build a case? Can I build a case for that theory?
Build that case.
Really, real quick case for. I think it may be a generation of hip hop that was before this generation that is appearing right now. The let's say the 43, let's say 45 and up. Let's just say, right, some of the OGs and legends who have been in position for a long time. When I think about Snoop, I think about the way he played defense with Taylor Made, and I think about at a very crucial time where all energy should have been behind wherever your allegiance is. He kind of played the fence as the other guy was using his voice via AI, as well as mocking Tupac via AI. He played the fence. He came back on the other side. I think about the game also playing the fence between Drake and Kendrick situation. I'm friends with both. Fine. I think about 50 Cent going on Big Boy having the Opolis, sliding with Drake after everybody had like that. I mean, everybody can have an opinion of their own in these situations, but I think this is really weird seeing all of this behavior. Lil Wayne's situation was an internet situation, Tori, to your point, until he started doing these weird ass interviews where he's like, it honestly broke my heart that I'm not able to perform that Super Bowl in front of my mama. And it's like, when has it ever been owed to you just because it's in your city? And now, even recently, Lil Boosie is talking about, yeah, that was a cool show, Kendrick, but really, folks from New Orleans could have did that whole thing and headline it by themselves. And my question is, why don't you just go make a festival then? You have the money, you're building a whole acre a Disneyland on your grounds. Why don't you go do a festival? So I'm looking at
hating on it as a hip hop artist and it's just crazy. But let's talk about these super chats real quick because I don't want to forget them. And we got a tight hour show. But I'm gonna let you finish that. I'm gonna let you finish, Curtis. I'm gonna let you. Curtis walks the walk. So much respect to him. Curtis walks the walk. So much respect to him. Look at that. By I Got Fame. Shout out to I Got Fame. Matt Hemming, friend of the show, out in Canada.
Appreciate you.
And anti-Semitism laid the framework for how anti-blackness could work in America. The word ghetto means foundry. The first ghetto was an industrial site in Venice in 1516, and it was for Jews. All hate is connected. F. Kanye. All hate is connected is the true statement. Hate begets hate. Evil begets evil. And you construct these things to be able to create some sort of ridiculously arbitrary hate vehicle that can be used over and over again in time. And that's how racism started anyways. That's how the concept and construct of race started. It's like somebody did some shit over there, they brought it over here and said, hey, this is how we're going to reconstruct it. It's been constructed in different ways throughout the world and throughout time for so long. Another screw face, super friend of the show.
So nice. This guy's so nice.
Love Touré. I mean, love Screwface.
So nice.
Nah, Touré, if Wayne complained once, I'd agree with you. But literally, use not being on the Super Bowl to get attention to roll out his album and Louisiana Fest. So he was using that attention.
He did an interview with Skip Bayless, and he did a random video on social media. Just him.
Did he hate on the Skip Bayless interview? Was it hate on there though? I thought he just said, we talked.
No, he walked it back after the internet kicked his back in. And that's what I'm saying is that the point I'm making really quick. The point I'm making is that that is a generation of rappers who were used to being on their own Mount Rushmore to a sense. Like they were always part of the conversation. They were protected by a machine. And because of that, nobody really raised above anybody else. It was like, I respect you, I respect you. This is the first time you're seeing one singular rapper seem like he has all the steam of not just the machine of the label, but the corporations are flying with him.
I see what you're saying. This is the first time where it's like we are like all unanimously saying that's the guy. Nobody else is the guy. That's the guy.
And the companies.
Yeah.
Streets and companies like that. I look at them and I say, you trying to tell me none of those folks from that class would have loved to have just 1 year like this?
Yeah.
No, this is one of the greatest years.
It's unprecedented. It's unprecedented. Let's go into that. Let's segue into Kendrick because we all tired of this Ye talk anyways. But I love that statement. Now that I fully grasp what you're saying, I get it because where we come from, it was always Jay-Z, Biggie, or Nas, right? It was always a conversation. The three of us right now we know what it is. There's no, like, give me that shirt, my nigga. Like, me and you, we rap, and we have no problem saying, no. That's the guy. That is the guy. Kenny is the guy, period. There's nothing to talk about because no one's done it before.
And he's not done because GNX is going to be eligible for the Grammys next year.
But, wow, we're still good. So you're saying Kendrick has he's like united all the belts right?
Yeah.
Like in a way that nobody
He
had.
created one league. He created one league.
He's rookie of the
he did
year, MVP, and the NBA champion all in one. Like he's winning on multiple levels. I mean, for sure. And I bet Drake
There's gotta
thought
be
he
hate.
was part of that. He was the commercial champ, and now
I think Drake thought he is who Kendrick is.
that's nuts.
I think he genuinely felt like his relationships
though?
would protect him in everywhere he's at.
See, Kanye's delusion is obvious. The average superstar rapper's delusion is not obvious. Drake is also delusional. It just comes out in a different way, and he's not politically delusional like Kanye, right? But like he's also delusional that he thought that this could happen. That's fucking delusional. That he made it, that that he happened to be on the timeline where it actually worked is like amazing. But like all of them are delusional. You have to be delusional to make it really, really huge, to believe that this is possible.
That's what was at the end of Training Day. He for sure was delusional at the end of Training Day.
Speaking of Training Day, one more time for Screwface, another super chat. He said, by the way, just assume I'm always here. Even if I don't say anything, y'all one of my favorite podcast stream shows. Right now, my lurk game is God tier. He said he'd be lurking. Insert Denzel meme right there from Trading Day. Right
Wait,
there. That's my guy.
If official BNA music is back, he said the streets always knew Ye was white. He was beloved when he was in college, right? That college trio, he was fun, he was funny, he was rising, he was striving.
He was speaking to us.
Yeah, and he would make fun records.
Now we realize that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was not controversial then. It was like, yo, that guy is cool. It was late. It was 808s made him aesthetically controversial, and then he fucked with Taylor, and then it started to get freaking. Then we started getting into messy shit, right? His whole career got messy with that whole Taylor era.
Yeah, and I'd like this comment that Ye said what he was gonna do on Gold Digger. When he get on, leave your ass for white. Like he said what he told the whole time. He told us what he was going to do, and we just thought it was funny. We were like, "That's funny. You're so crazy." He's like, "Yeah, that's true. That's true. People be doing that."
John Jid 999 said y'all should get more fire YouTubers like No Life Shack on.
True. We'll hit up. We mess with all the hip hop YouTube community. We want them all here.
And here comes Screwface John came back with another one. By the way, just assume. Oh, you read this already? Just assume.
Yeah.
Oh, you read it. My lurk game is God tier. I love that. My lurk game. But you know what? To be really good at anything, you have to have that. Like you guys as MCs, you're paying attention to a very wide swath of what comes out, right? Like as a writer, I want to read a bunch of people who are in my lane. Like whatever you want to do, you got to be a student of that lane. This nigga, what is happening right now?
Nah, that was a Kanye joke. This nigga said, "Fuck." He goes. I don't read and fuck anybody that does. That was another tweet. Like this is who you defending. Like you can't defend that guy. But anyways, we made the whole hour about Ye, and we didn't give no praise.
Kenny a little bit.
A little bit. But I didn't get Curtis's opinion on the halftime aftermath. Like, how do you feel about the split? Like, where do you think it goes from here? Like, let's get it in.
Wait, what split? You mean the white people who don't like it, who it wasn't intended for?
No, I'm thinking the whole intended for thing. I think is sometimes a scapegoat thing when it comes to analysis, though, which I don't like that idea of like, oh, you didn't get it, therefore this is your issue with it. I think sometimes too you gotta talk about the people who are of the culture who are communicating certain things. Just like what he said when he said that there's people who are jealous. I think that's an important part of some of the people who are hating too. Like maybe there's jealousy. You don't like, agree with the messaging as well.
If you or Curtis had as people in the community had a critique of the show, I would be very interested to hear it. And you had your technical critiques, but that's rapper to rapper. That's different. Right? If you were like, I wish that you had spoken more to mass incarceration if you're going to have a prison yard and be more overt about that. Like, we could talk about that. But like white people who like this
I ain't
is
talking
not
about
their
white
world,
people. Yeah, I'm not
like,
talking about white people. I'm talking about
because I don't see a split. I think everybody who is in the realm of being able to understand this was like, wow, this was amazing. What was that? And then there's people like us who are like, let's deconstruct it and explain what we see. But like people are like, that was the shit. That was amazing.
Within the deconstruction, there's different things too. That's what I mean about analysis. Is that within the culture, there's people that are hating. Within this culture, there's people that don't agree with the messaging. I'm talking about that part as well as just what Curtis thinks.
Who within the culture was what was their point?
I just want to know what Curtis thinks. First of all, about the thing first. I just want to know your thoughts on the whole thing.
So I think it was interesting is that someone just said it right now, and I think that right now some people are recognizing how tone deaf and out of touch they are with what just happened, right? This was more than just a halftime show. There was a statement. There were multiple statements being made. And I think that there's people who think that if you're not on the side of, if you're either, someone said you're either jealous or you're white, and that's the reason you didn't like it. Cap. It's not about your likability. The problem is the last 15 years, Drake has given you your likability. Hip hop wasn't meant to be liked. It wasn't meant to be served up so that you like it. Approve me. It's supposed to be anti-establishment. And he went up there and he marked these niggas out right there on stage. And he did that for America to see. And it's so funny that people are pointing to, oh, it's this and this and this and this. No, he made art. When you make art, somebody needs to be offended. The problem is, it's been a bunch of fucking, excuse my language, it's been a bunch of fucking zombies out here who have been consuming music that is merely to be a pacifier in your mouth. And now you finally get some art that makes you shake up, some art that makes you think. Of course your lazy ass don't like it. Of course you think it's mid, because you don't want to use your brain. And it's beautiful that this happened on Front Street. It's beautiful that you don't like it, because I think if anything, it means it's time to go look in the mirror. Because if you don't like it, it's fine. But if you don't understand it, that's a choice. So when I see all of this different imagery in there, I think it's even funny, the how petty all of this stuff is. I just saw a video today that said, tell Kendrick go get his uncle. I want to speak to the man of the house, right? Making fun of the line of the song he made on his Mr. Morale. What's the name of the song, King? Remember that?
What?
We talk about his auntie is a man, and he's making fun
of
that.
Yeah. Auntie Diaries.
And what does Samuel Jackson say in the first line? It's your Uncle Samuel. He brought his uncle out. And you still got petty, you got hip hop, you got petty, you got hip hop, you got cultural statements. I love that it's polarizing.
It was always doubled. Everything had two meanings at all times, or multiple meanings at all times. It was beautiful.
So my last thing is this. I don't want to listen to a zombie who has been consuming on streaming. You haven't even been buying music. Shut up. You haven't been buying music. Don't tell me about what culture should be.
Yeah, go out there and buy that beige EP, first of all.
Buying from King Green, like, don't say, shut up. First of all. Second of all, there's been too many zombies out here trying to tell other people how to be humans. Oh, it's mid, bro. I give it an 8 out of 10. What do you give these performances where these niggas is rapping over their vocals? You ain't saying shit about that. Over their vocals.
Do you know how hard I made a tweet, and rapping is harder than singing. I want you guys to know this. I do both. I'm in a band. I do vocals and I do rapping.
Why do you think? Why?
It's not think. I have to belt out so many words. I have to memorize so many words. So off memory, you already beating whatever's happening with melody, because melody includes memory. It's easier to remember things with melody. That's why you sing ABCs. It's easier to remember that. So now I have to have a strong capacity to remember things, and that's why some lot of rappers suck and go off of their tracks. I'm moving. So what he did with running freaking 6 miles every day, he needs to. I don't think people understand the simplest movement while you're talking. I'm running my mouth right now. The simplest movement while you're rapping to a rhythm takes so much energy from you. That's why you're drenched in sweat. You seen DMX play what's it called? Woodstock, and how he's drenched, how DMX goes around the stage, he's drenched, he's dying. what singer is drenched after it unless it's Beyonce because she's dancing her whole
Choreography.
stuff out. It takes so much actual energy to rap and move, and that's what he was doing, and he's actually rapping.
What does running 6 miles do for you when you hit the
breath
stage?
breath control, and able to keep your wind, because you will get tired. You will actually just get tired rapping because you're pushing out air the whole time. You're not receiving in the oxygen to be able to turn out the carbon. You're a carbon-based animal. You need mammal. You need to push that shit out. So when you're over here rapping, it takes so much energy. You're literally
Aren't you
converting.
Are you not breathing through your nose as you are rapping?
It's no.
If you know what you're doing.
If you know what you're taking breaths, and it's a lot through your mouth actually, because you're taking breaths in the negative space. So if I say it's a gradual epidemic, the progression of Medicaid lost minds of our youth, institution, and sentences. That part right there at the sentences, I just took my breath and I'm going back. City sees the city, not the mayor of delegates, homicide, city life, and they set in the precedent. I'm taking those breaths at the end of those bars. So after all that, I need to take a breath, and you go into it. So that's why, and his shit is more dense than these niggas. It's more dense what I just did. His shit is on top of each other. It's like impossible to do. And even him there, he had little spaces where he had to take out words. Some people think he's taking out words in spots because of like censorship. Yes, sometimes it's censorship, but sometimes you just can't do it.
Right. Well, I was going to say also, to add to what you're saying, these are very unnatural movements for us, Torre. Like, when do you ever during the day need to do this? When do you ever? I Starbucks barista, can I get a ice white mocha? Yeah. Add the sweet cream foam. Yeah, over here. Like, there's so many movements that you can't really. 6 miles to me makes so much sense. What I used to do, and I still do whenever I want to really get my stuff up, is that I would get on a trampoline. And I would recite my lyrics. At the same time that I'm sitting on a trampoline, I would have someone in the house doing basic math in front of my face. Why? Because your mind is working different when your heart is beating insanely fast.
Yup.
Right? The memory works different. So if I can be on a trampoline and say my lyrics, and then I got somebody in front of me saying 2 + 2 is 4, 4 + 4 is 8, 8 + 8 is 16, and I can still focus, there's no element that you can throw at me on a live stage.
Exactly. Think about Outkast talking about how they would have to run while they recite their lyrics. They like Dungeon Family, Rico, and all them made them run while they were reciting lyrics. They went through boot camp. That's such a real thing. When you see artists do that thing, you have to have wind about you, or you can't really go in there. Think about Biggie when that's why he was also incredible. He would like pass out. But let's do this super chat, because I'm also about to have to leave in a second.
I wanted you to address if there's other reasons why rapping is harder than singing beyond we have to remember more words.
We just said breath. The lung control is a bit more.
The lung control, more right? The whole breath control thing would be different because there's more words.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
what else?
Movement. You usually have to move more as a rapper. Usually moves more unless you're a dancer, and that's why dancers, singers, except for Beyonce. This is why Beyonce is so incredible to me. She's singing and dancing and is live singing. Most dancer singers don't live sing. Why can't they do that, Toure? Because they will die. They would die.
Dancing is too much for your lungs.
It's too much for your lungs for you to be able to do that. So a dancer singer actually executing Beyonce, that is incredible. Back to Super Chat. The Super Bowl sent a message of truth. If made people uncomfortable, it did its job. If people enjoyed it, it did its job. Kendrick understood the mission and executed it very well, of course. Screwface again, friend of the show. People forget they hated on Beyonce, Weekend, Rihanna, and Usher's halftime show. Then they dropped Google it. Between Green. By the way, Green is 100% right about rapping on stage. Yes. Thank you. He's also a rapper, and if you've rapped and sing, you know the difference of the two on stage, and you could command so much attention because it's a talent, it's a gift. It is a more of a gift to sing versus a gift to rap. Like a gift rapping, you can actually build up that skill set, right? Some people just will never be able to sing, so it's such a talent and gift to sing that
you can learn you can learn rapping, but singing is only a gift? You think you can learn singing?
I said it's such a gift. I didn't say that you can learn. Anyone can learn how to sing better, right? But to be able to really sing, and it's crazy, that's a gift that you have. And if you stand there and command the stage, you could just stand there and sing, do nothing, and sing beautiful sonnets to the crowd, and it'll take us over with melody. That's what I'm saying. The melody is a thing.
You know what's so crazy about that, though? You talked about all the difficulties that it is to be a rapper with breath control. I think people still, as consumers, think that it's more impressive to see singing in front of them because they really look at that as an actual skill set, in their opinion, right? But what I'm talking about, what you're talking about doing, I don't think people recognize he's telling you what it requires at the entry point to become a rapper, right? To actually rap good and to be sounding good, like
crazy.
People don't recognize during that halftime show there were technical difficulties that were occurring, and they talked about it afterwards. There were things that were supposed to happen that didn't happen, like the fireworks and all these different things. But there were technical difficulties. That's why you sometimes you heard the crowd, sometimes you didn't hear the crowd. And he still, as a professional, had to be able to hear what's going on in his headset. People don't understand when you're performing in studio set in stadiums. The reverb is so insane that the words you just said may echo over here, and now you're listening to the reverberation if you don't know what you're doing. So it's like people have, and this is. I hope we're getting out of this era. I know you got to go, but I hope we get out this era where people who never done it stop acting like they're the professionals to speak about how to do it. And why they at a lunch break talking about some shit? If I was Curtis, if I was Kendrick. Shit, I probably would have did Money Tree. You don't understand that 7 of the 10 songs he performed, he owns the masters of. Oops.
Yeah, but he still could have done all. He still could have done all right just for me. Just for me.
I'm with you.
Nah, I get it.
That's a big point that he's focused on records he owns.
Of course, he's focused on records he owns, but he played humble. He played all the stars. But I have to go.
Read the one last super chat.
You go ahead, read it.
Busy Works Beats said, chat, let's run these super chats up. I appreciate that. That's dope. It's a great conversation. Thanks, guys.
All right. And Jalopy Bungus has a video titled Game Over.
Go ahead. You were reading
What really means that I think might interest you. I highly recommend it. Supremacy, we will go ahead and check that out. Chat, we love you guys. Thank y'all so much. Guys. I'm headed out and flying out. If I miss my flight, it's y'all fault. First day out.
You're gonna make it just like Luka Doncic with the Lakers. You got it, man.
Welcome home.
I like Luka over there, man. I like that for y'all. All right, we out.
All right. Peace.